So what do you believe holds companies back from true change and transformation? Is it mindset? It ain't broke. What's your belief here?
Without a doubt, fear. And I've seen it recently. Of course, one reason of we are not only growing organically, we are growing through acquisitions. And when I meet a new acquired company, we start talking about things. And of course, where we are in Sweden as of now, I think we have come. We are not finished, but we've come a long way on our journey, so to say. And that knowledge that we gained, we of course would like to inject in those new companies we acquired. And even though they are a group company, they are fear driven, because change is it could be scary, of course, and I understand it. But if we don't have the guts to actually change, the result will be the exact same thing that you did last year. Yeah. So in order for you to make a positive impact on your result, you need to change. With that being said, of course, I can understand that changing things in your processes can be challenging. Of course, it could have impact on both this and that in the business, but in order for us to actually have a positive change, you need to do those challenges towards yourself and change the business. And we have proof of concept of it. But a direct answer, fear.
Yeah, and I just want to circle back around to that fear. Let's drive into that a little bit further. What exactly do you think they're fearing? Yes, it's change, but what about that?
I think they are afraid of changing because the competitor have this and that. Could that have any impact on how the schools react on those changes? Basically, they are afraid of doing changes because then another competitor in a fragmented market can take advantage of that. Yeah. But as well, I don't. From my perspective, I'm 100% convinced you can change what the demands are from the customers. Yeah. That you can change, but in order to have those customers, you need to change to develop your business so they do want, so they still want to buy from you. But competitor and fear from losing jobs to your neighbor or your competitor nearby.
One thing that we've come across, because the Nordic market is quite advanced, and when I started doing things in Australia, it was like this would never work here. Yeah. So I'm constantly running into the fear of unknown.
Yeah.
But albeit it's not actually unknown because someone else has done it before.
And I have probably the same situation, because when we acquire a new company in a new market, or in this case, the UK, or when we look at the other markets, of course, they also are fear-driven because they don't want to change, because we would like to do it like we've done the last 25 years. But the change is called it will come anyway in the market. So the expectations from the customers, we need to go more towards the Amazon delivery thinking. It's not okay I don't think it's okay to have like 9 to 12 weeks of delivering times. The expectations from the end customer is so much faster than that. So I think if we want to have the industry be as it's like today, we need to change. We need to comply with 2026 demands. If I order today, I want it tomorrow. That might not be the case, but in a few days. So if I were the parent ordering school photos, of course, if I order today and I look at the website, then I don't want to wait for 12 weeks, because that will be hurtful for trying to have the customers coming back. There's some multiple things here that are crucial towards the business, where I have the opportunity to visit and talk to a number of countries, and each country have their challenges, but in the end, I'm 100% convinced everything will be on the internet. It will be in a web shop, even though I do understand that some companies still do cash. They do written orders on a paper still, but in the end, I think the end customer will be the one that decides where the market should go. So in the end, I think we have globally the same challenges, but different markets have on this path have come different long in that journey. Did it make any sense?
100%. And I think the analogy here is buying online. And when we buy a pair of shoes, a shirt, we can see that online and go, okay, I like the look of that. Great size, boom, it's got the measurements. I'm going to buy that, done. Why are school photos any different? Why can't they? They're not, right? They're not.
No. So, and that's what I'm trying to say with my lack of good English. But
you're doing well, mate.
I think our customers in school photography is precisely as other customers buying clothes or vacuum cleaners, bags, or whatever. If I order today, I order it online. I expect the delivery to come in X amount of days. So with that being said, a lot of things throughout the industry globally will change. And from my perspective, either I go and get those changes or try to do those changes, or I eventually will end up not having a business, because the changes will come even if we don't want it to come. So
I have another sort of a part B to this question as well, and we briefly touched on it before, because on the off-shelf platforms, they're often commission-driven, right? And when it gets to the larger companies, enterprise-level companies, it's like, well, why would I give you 5%, whatever percent it is, of our income to a technology company? What do you say to that?
I don't think that's a smart way of looking at it, because you need to look at what does this software actually contributes to your company, and how do you adapt to that software. Now talking about my experience from us having done that change X amount of years ago, for us, we did see a cost reduction in both staff and things that we paid for, between 20 to 40%. But simultaneously, the new features that we found out through this system also brought in even more money. and that could of course varies, but somewhere between 20 to 40%. But with that being said, of course, both the effect of both those things will have a huge impact on the result as well. So for me, it's a no-brainer if it's 3, 4, 5, 6% or whatever. You need to look at it from a different perspective. What can you gain from making that move, and what type of efficiency can you have in place? So for me, it was a no-brainer. I had already covered the cost base of the system, because I knew we would have multiple cost decreases that would cover both that and on top of that. So
yeah,
and then on the positive side, it will also bring a lot more income to it. So for me, that's a no-brainer, without a doubt.
Yeah, we've had one large operator here in Australia who recently had, or I think it was last financial year, had their best year ever since the company has operated in 40 years. And the number which was said at SPAC, that net profit has risen by 72%. That's net profit. So you think for 4, 5, 6, 7%, that's not a bad investment to get 72%.
100%. And also talking about this, I think, of course, if you don't make any changes, if you just change the software and don't make any changes, you need to look at the features of the software and what that can bring to your workflow. And you need to adapt and embrace making those changes, because when you combine those two, you can have a really good effect on the business.
Yes, it's like you have a good tool, but you're not using the right way.
Exactly.
Yeah, you've the carpenter goes into the hardware store and goes, I want a nail gun. He takes a nail gun out and goes, I'm going to build lots of frames and so on. And he turns the nail gun around and starts hitting the hitting the nail.
Exactly my point. Exactly my point. You need to adapt to the positive features that the new software can give you.